Hey, what's going on? My name is Chris.
And my name is Ian, and you guys are here watching the Two Dudes One Up Gaming Podcast. It is Monday, August 6th, 2018, and I gotta ask you, Chris, how was your weekend this week?
My weekend was, you could
It was a
say,
weekend?
I went to a festival.
Oh, a festival.
A solstice, you might even say.
Oh,
Yeah,
please
Destiny 2 has
explain.
that event going on. So my entire
Oh, that's
weekend
right.
was like only that. I mean, I think
Yeah.
I woke up on Sunday at like 10 in the morning, and I think I did D2 until
Probably
like at least
like
midnight.
super late Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah, like I just yeah, the whole time.
No, it's cool that they had stuff going that late. That's super cool. Like I think that because usually most of those conference type stuff usually end around 6, 7, then people go grab dinner and that's it. They get back the next morning, super early. But no, they had content going until midnight. That's cool.
Are we talking about the same thing?
I'm not sure. I thought you had gone up to New York
I
for
went to
your conference.
Pennsylvania, but that was during the week. The weekend I was back. I came back on Thursday.
Oh, okay. So what was it that you did this weekend?
Oh yeah, this
Oh, the winter. So I'm all out of it today. I'm sorry. The winter solstice.
like you were playing with me.
Yeah, the solstice event in Destiny 2. I thought,
Yeah, yeah,
I thought you were
that
going
was
to
the
talk about
weekend. No,
work,
I did.
but
You're right though. I did go to
that's fine.
Pennsylvania this past week, just for work. It was just a developer meetup. We try to do one once a year just to keep everybody on the same page and just so we can hang out and just have a good time. And so I finally went up to corporate office. Never been there before. Really cool office, by the way. Really cool
Yeah.
office. Um, I got to meet some of the people that I interact with on a day-to-day basis that I had never met before, so that was good fun. And then I came back and played Destiny, so that was that.
Yeah. All right. I mean, that's a
How
pretty
about you?
productive week.
What happened with you?
Uh, you know, uh, I got back last week from BronyCon. I worked BronyCon, and
Yeah.
we had moved into our new warehouse. So I spent this week setting up my cubicle. For it's pretty magical. I know you've seen it. I will upload the photos to our Discord so people can take a look. I went with an
Okay.
outdoorsy theme with fake grass, lots of fake plants. It is kitted out with some Nerf weapons now, which we ended up using today. We assaulted the owner and the warehouse manager like about 10 minutes before we closed up.
That's what's up, man.
That was fun. Yeah, so I got a couple of more peripherals that came in today. I got a nice little typewriter USB keyboard
Oh,
with yeah, it's super cool. I'll post a picture of that on the Discord after the
yeah,
show
that sounds
today
cool.
too. Yeah, and then other than that, over the course of this weekend, I had an event over at Hard Rock Live. There was an LGBTQ plus Pride Gala event there, and we brought out a big giant LED wall, and I set it all up and hung around, played all the content for the acts and stuff, and they gave out a whole bunch of awards, and that was super cool. So yep, and then spent Sunday playing Destiny. Went back to work today, and all is well and good.
Good.
So it has been a pretty good and pretty fun weekend back in town. Or week back in town. I do know we've got a lot of games actually getting released this week.
We
I
do.
know like the last couple of weeks it's been
Kind
kind
of
of
dry.
sparse, but there's a couple of big releases coming up this week. But
Yeah, there's
for
some
the
cool
most
ones.
part, Dead Cells is coming out tomorrow. There's like 4 or 5 games coming out tomorrow. Dead Cells is coming out for everything: PS4,
Yep.
Xbox One, Switch, PC. Do you know anything about Dead Cells
Yeah,
or?
Dead Cells is a roguelike platformer
Yeah.
coming out pretty soon. So with a sort of a Metroidvania style to it, and
Okay.
it's actually been in early access for a little while, and I have been holding off and picking it up because I was like, well, the game's not actually ready yet, and typically early access stuff is like it's either a hit or miss, and if it's from some company where there's like a guarantee of quality, I'll probably get on board, but for the most part, I tend to avoid it these days, and this is one of those where just there wasn't really a guarantee of quality on it, but the new trailer for it looks pretty good and kind of funny.
It looks
Um,
it looks pretty good.
yeah,
I know IGN is giving it like top marks. I think it's got like a 9.7 on IGN right now.
Mhm.
So that's super cool. Plus, it's coming out for the Switch, which means I'll probably pick it up because I'm always looking for new games for the Switch.
true. Got to
Uh,
justify that purchase.
Yeah, I think honestly at this point I've had it now since came out like a year and a half ago, I definitely feel like I've gotten my money's worth out of it, which is awesome. But also coming out for the Switch as well tomorrow, also for PlayStation, Xbox One, and PC, the sequel to one of the greatest games of all time, Overcooked. Overcooked 2 is coming out. I am excited to see what they have updated to make this a little bit different than 1. Overcooked was a hell of a lot of fun. It was a game that I could play with a significant other, and we would hate each other's guts by the end of the night, and then we'd have to make up the next day.
It's great.
Yeah, this is. But I
hope it does. I don't know if it does. Does Overcooked 2 have online multiplayer, or online co-op?
I am not sure. I will check that right now because if it does,
that'd be incredible.
Then that would be insane.
Yeah. I know I actually bought the first one and launched it just kind of presuming that it would have online co-op, and discovered in a somewhat abrupt way that it didn't after I had gifted it to a friend, and I was like, oh, well, I guess we have this now. So that was an interesting time.
Confirmed online co-op.
Nice.
Yep.
Also coming out tomorrow. Let me ask you a question, Ian. Do you think if the Dallas Cowboys could have their quarterback get their hands on a pigskin, throw off to the wide receiver, and he run it down to the end zone, would that be a touchdown? I think that'd be a touchdown.
As a Philadelphia Eagles fan, whose rivals of all time would be the Dallas Cowboys, they are that would not be a touchdown.
No, what
Dak
would that
would
be?
throw an interception. That would be an interception because one of the Eagles safeties would come up over the top and prevent that from happening. Madden 2019 comes out for tomorrow for the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, and the PC. This is the first Madden PC game in a very, very
long time. Yeah, I think 2001 was the last one on PC or something.
Yeah, something insane. Again, as a Philadelphia Eagles fan, we finally won the Super Bowl this year. My interest in football is at an all-time high. I will be picking up Madden. I will be playing it.
Oh, you really?
I want to have. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. I will have Carson Wentz throwing deep bombs down the field. It'll be great. I'm all about it.
My question to you is this: could you be the first man in 2 decades to lead the Miami Dolphins to victory?
No, I refuse to. I will be playing the Eagles consistently nonstop. That will not change.
No, all right.
Just as I would play as the Philadelphia Flyers if NHL would ever come out for PC, which from what I understand, it's not the new one, which is a bummer. But I'll take it. I'll take it for Madden right now. I'm excited. I'm excited to see how keyboard controls translate these days into Madden. Because it's always been a controller first game. They've always focused on like the hit sticks, like so like.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how that translates.
It's probably got one of those little Steam tags, controller recommended.
However, if I told you that there's a game inside of a box, and the box is, a pretty decent size, but when you go inside of the box, it's much, much bigger, would you believe me?
I might. What color is said box?
This would be a blue police box.
Oh. Does it have a phone inside?
It does not. It has a time traveling spaceship inside.
Oh,
that is because Doctor Who is getting a game called Doctor Who Infinity. So
no attention to
that is coming out. No, that's coming out for the PC tomorrow. It's brought to you by the same guys that made the Legacy game. So it tells some pretty interesting stories. It's definitely more of like an animated cartoon version of Doctor Who.
Yeah.
And I believe it's going through a lot of the different doctors. You play through a bunch of the doctors, which I think is kind of cool because at this point we're on like 13, I think.
Something like that, yeah.
13th Doctor. So
a lot of dudes. Not even James Bond has had so many actors.
No, actually, no. I think you're right. I think James Bond has had like 6 or 7.
I think 7. Anyway, last but not least, coming out on Wednesday is Minecraft Story Mode.
Or Wednesday, my bad. Yeah.
Oh no, you're right. Tomorrow's August 7th. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wrote Wednesday on it for some reason, which means all my days seem to be wrong.
Fridays. So. It's okay.
Well, I know
No
Thursday is the 9th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Minecraft Story Mode Season 2 comes out. Did you play Story Mode Season 1?
No.
Okay, neither did I. But
Great.
I hear great things about it.
Yeah.
Apparently it's super, super popular. I missed the Minecraft train. It's just, that's just
You missed it?
But yeah, but
The best time to play Minecraft was in like 2010, 9 or 10, something like that. Like it had just come out. It was on like everything up until like 1.2 up in there was like really good and like it was popular. And then for whatever, like it just suddenly like I don't know, like things got way too complicated and like there's too much stuff in it, and then like it started getting picked up by schools, and then young children were playing it, and it sort of became like a kids version of Legos and all that. I don't know, like something happened to it, and it just wasn't interesting anymore. So,
well, that's fair.
That's just me.
But
I know a lot of people still love Minecraft.
Games. That's 5 games coming out tomorrow, and that's been like what we've been talking about for like the last 2 or 3 weeks. There's been like 4 games, 5 games. That's just tomorrow. We've got more games coming out this week. On Thursday, we've got what I consider the biggest release of the month, definitely of the month, maybe even the quarter.
Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom Adventure Pack?
Yep, is getting the adventure pack. Some brand new content for the game, a couple of new characters that you can play as. I'm super, super stoked. I put about 120 hours, 130 hours into the original game, and I've played through it again as a new game plus, and I've loved every minute of it, and I can't wait for some more content. And it's coming out on Thursday. Also coming out on Thursday is coming out on Thursday is Okami HD for the Switch. Okami's been around for a while. I'm glad to see Switch finally get their hands on it. It's a very fun game. I played it on PC. And yeah, I mean, I probably won't pick this one up for the Switch just because I've had so much time playing it. I don't think it's going to bring anything new to the table. But if you haven't given the Okami game a go, this is a perfect time to get into it if you have a Switch.
Also coming out on Thursday is Postscriptum, the Bloody Seventh. This one's been in pseudo early access, kind of like a beta for a while now. It sort of reminds me of a mixture between Battlefield 1942 and oh my gosh, what the heck was the name of it? PlanetSide 2.
I don't know.
So it sort of mixes that air combat, land combat, infantry combat. You've got your infantrymen, your medics, and your snipers, and your assaults, and your anti-tank guys, and all that stuff, combined with a large number of people in the map at the same time. So you're looking at like 30 to 60 people all at once, with a big focus on teamwork and gameplay that was in PlanetSide. So it's kind of a mix of those things, and it takes place in World War, I want to say 1 or 2. I think 2. Might be 2. But it looks fairly interesting. It's not exactly up my alley, but I know that there have been quite a few Twitch streamers playing it, and it looks like they're having quite a bit of fun with it. So that's some cool beans. If you are more of a strategy type of fan, you will appreciate that Total War Rome 2, the new pack Rise of the Republic, comes out tomorrow as well. So if you've played one Total War game, I would say that you've played them all, but you really haven't because there have been crazy changes throughout the years. But they're still quite a bit of fun. It's like a crazy mix of the long-term strategy of Civilization and the nitty-gritty of real-time strategy games. It somehow took both and put it into one game. So that's pretty darn cool. And then finally coming out on the 9th is Monster Hunter World, getting its release on PC. I've been looking forward to this one for a long time. I plan to be playing a lot of this game.
I know. I just got my email from Green Man Gaming.
Yep.
With my activation code and everything like that. So I'm ready to go. I'm ready to play Thursday when I get home from work.
Wednesday night, I'm there.
It's gonna happen.
As soon as it releases. I'm gonna have to look up the actual time it releases because I'm not gonna like camp it until until like the second. But like at my earliest convenient time, I will play that game.
When it goes live, as soon as you could, you'll do it. It's going to be exciting. We'll be able to capture some monsters together, and I think it'll be pretty cool. And
Yeah, it's gonna be great. I'm looking very much forward to it, honestly. Like, I know there was a while where a few months back I went like crazy with Monster Hunter games. Like, I picked up Generations for the 3DS, and me and my buddy
Yeah.
Kevin and my friend Mike as well just played tons of it. Like, we probably put like 200 hours in on our 3DSs um, over the course of like 2 months or something like that, which is kind of crazy. But at the same time, like I had a lot of fun playing that. So it's really cool. I'm looking very much forward to having one playable with a controller in hand on a nice sized screen. So
Yeah. And for the rare Friday release,
yeah,
We Happy
an
Few
actual weekend
has
release.
finally gotten. Yeah, We Happy Few has finally come out of early access, and it's being released for PS4, Xbox One, and PC.
But not
I've been
in
sitting on
Australia.
this game for a while. Not in Australia, no.
Not in
We've talked
Australia.
about that. Yeah,
Sorry, Osh
I
friends.
think we talked. Maybe down the line, who knows? When it can figure out what it wants to do with its its board of its ratings board. But
Who knows?
for right now, sorry, Australia. I currently have this loaded. I've had it since early access. I have it
Really?
loaded on my PC, ready to go,
Okay.
and I'm pretty. I had a good time playing it. It was kind of neat in the sense that it was like very much it kind of reminded me of BioShock a lot.
All right.
In the sense of like the drug use and the making its way around and the way that the town kind of reacts.
Sure.
So I'm excited to see how they've expanded on it. It's been a while since I've touched it, so it's been like at least 6 months. So we'll see what happens. I'll probably play it sometime. Maybe I'll play it on stream. Who knows?
All right. Sounds good.
Yeah, and that's pretty much about it for
That's it.
all
That's
the
the games that
game
are coming out.
releases. That's over double-digit game releases tomorrow.
Yeah, that is
that are all
11
worth
or this week.
So-
11 games
Yeah.
this week. You count consoles, you're getting into the 25s, 30s.
Yeah, you'll get if you can, and all the indie games and stuff. But we can't.
Oh
review
yeah,
all
we can't
those
cover
and
every game
spend all
that's
that
coming
time.
out. We just pick a few.
Yeah.
So moving into gaming news, have you ever wondered what Rad Roach tastes like, Ian?
No, I have not.
Great. Well, lucky for you, a Fallout cookbook written by Victoria Rosenthal will be published on October 23rd, and you could taste Rad Roach for the first time, along with such, and I'm guessing it was going to be in this book because I have no idea. But imagine what one of those two-headed cows might taste like, or so like maybe some Deathclaw jerky, right? So that's the
I
thing.
don't really know. I don't really know anything about Victoria Rosenthal. Like, I thought she'd be somebody a name I would recognize, but because I'm a
It's just the name
big
of the person
food
who
guy.
wrote it.
Yeah,
I think
I'm
she's
a
written a
big
couple of like gaming inspired cookbooks, and that's kind of about it. Like she's not like super famous, but she makes a living,
Yeah.
so that's good for her.
And I know she's done a couple of books because I googled her because I was like, who did the guy? Why do I not recognize her? She's done a bunch of like weight loss books in the sense of like how to get out of sleep apnea and like just like losing a lot of losing weight type stuff. So I'm interested to see how that translates into a video game book where maybe there's an ulterior. And now this is me going down the rabbit hole. Maybe
Sure.
there's an
Dig,
ulterior
please.
motive
Have
there
a shovel.
of maybe she wants to make this cookbook because she knows gamers who by and large are maybe a larger community where maybe she can kind of get that like little bit of a healthier lifestyle in there inspiring you from like things from video games. So who knows? I mean, that's a niche market that I don't think anybody's touched, and that's I love a good conspiracy, so that's how I'm just going to look at it from here on out.
Yeah, slap the all-seeing eye on the inside cover and call it good.
Yeah. I do know though that on Fallout, that Fallout 76, it was announced that it will not actually release on Steam.
That's right.
Especially
they announced that
even after
today, like 2 hours ago, this was announced or something.
Yeah. So like what we just had our conversation last week about DRM and how Steam has been great and kind of pushing that along, and a lot of people have kind of relied on Steam. Bethesda is saying screw off, we're going to do this ourselves, and they're releasing it on Bethesda.net. So that's kind of exciting.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's
Is
76
Bethesda?
and it's
Do you think
beta.
Bethesda?
Will only be on Bethesda.net. If you're on an Xbox or a PlayStation, you can still get that kind of thing. But the
Right.
the desktop versions of it will not be available
Not be.
on the world's most popular publishing platform.
Yeah. Now, do you think Bethesda is taking steps to become like Blizzard? Like maybe they've got the goal to release their own platform where they can release their own IPs on it. I think they have the ability to do so.
I'm sure they have the ability, but they don't, like, as far as I know, Blizzard or Bethesda does not have a launcher. Like, there's no software intermediary here. Like, to my best understanding, you will go to the website, and similar to the way that you do for EVE Online or for Warframe or for like Star Trek Online or Final Fantasy, you'll just go to the website and download the client onto your computer, and it will bring up its own launcher that's just for that game, and there it is. That's how it updates. Same way it works for Tarkov, everything else.
Yeah, but I don't think a launcher would be out of the question. I mean, if you look at it, you've got the two of the biggest games ever, on that are being run by Bethesda. Three, like if you went down the list, you'd have Fallout, you would have Elder Scrolls, you'd have Wolfenstein 2, you'd have Doom. Like, why not? You'd have the Elder Scrolls Online. Like, why not make a launcher?
Yeah, I mean, I think a client could definitely be something in the pipes for them. I'm sure they could do it. But I don't foresee this game being released without a launcher per se. I mean, it has to have a patching mechanism. Yeah.
Well, we'll see. I mean, we still got a ways away before 76 comes out, and the next Elder Scrolls.
It was this year, wasn't it?
What, Fallout 76?
Yeah, that was this year.
I will double check, but
I want to say
sure
October.
It was November of this year is supposed to be it. So
okay,
I mean, that's still a little bit of ways away.
Yeah,
we got about 3 months, 4 months, 3 months.
It's closer than we think, but farther than we recognize.
Yeah. So,
and if you want to make damn sure you can play it, I can tell you right now, a GTX 1080 is available on Amazon for $430.
Which
GPU
is a steal
prices
right now,
are plummeting. Partially because the Bitcoin explosion has finished. It's all just that collapsing in there, and then the 11 series is getting people have heard, so they're getting ready and they're not buying these cards anymore, and so prices are dropping, demand's going down.
Right.
But if you want one, get in there because that's the for the win version, version 2 I think for the win. So it has I think a faster core clock, but it's still like a 4 gig card. So I mean you're not I wouldn't get one unless I got a TI because we're getting to the point in PC gaming where you need more VRAM. Like the actual cards themselves, how much power they can put out isn't the problem. It's how much you can store in the memory at once. So
yeah, and that was actually VRAM. A problem I had over this weekend because I said I did a very large LED wall and the overall resolution of it was 6552 by 1344 pixels, and I ended up having to use pretty much all 5 outputs on the 1080 to run 4 different screens and my preview monitor, and it wasn't happy at all. I was pushing probably about 25 frames per second, where usually for stuff like that I kind of want to be pushing around 60. So it is what it is, and we managed to make it through. Most people aren't going to notice, because I wasn't showing this stuff off to a bunch of gamers that are staring it down. But I could tell.
No, generally anything above 24 FPS, in general, it won't be noticed because most of the film industry is still done in 24 FPS.
24.
Yeah. So you can get away with that kind of thing, but no, if you're dealing with an audience that's looking for high frame rates, then that's gonna be a problem. They'll see it, but most people aren't gonna see it.
They'll see it all day. Yeah. So but on the opposite side of the computer build process is just as important as your GPU is your CPU. And the AMD Threadripper 2990WX is up for pre-order. It is a massive 32 core processor, and I think it's just about under $2,000.
Ridiculous. Yeah, it's like $1,800. And like, to be clear, this is the Ryzen architecture as well. So this is the thing that has been scaring Intel shitless. And AMD's just like, what if we did the most insane thing we could? Let's take a 4 gigahertz card and put 32 cores in it.
Yeah, like, okay, sure, why not?
Why the hell not, right? Like, it's. I mean, when you're selling to an enthusiast market, $2,000 isn't really that crazy. Like, if you give a result that's like outrageously powerful, there are people out there who are just gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna buy that just for the shits. Like, if I had $2,000 sitting around and enough money to like buy the extra motherboard and that kind of, like, I would be there. Like. That is the processor that will guarantee that you're able to stream 1080p at 60 FPS, right? Like, that'll do it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm already looking at, like, again, I'm already looking at making build with that and one of the high-end, Fire Pro 90, like W9100 graphics cards.
Yeah.
So, like, because I need it. Like, this, like, matching the 32 cores with the 32 gigabyte DDR5 graphics card would be the bee's knees in my mind.
Yeah.
Granted, it would be like a $15,000 computer.
Yeah, but it could do anything.
It could do it. I could throw whatever I wanted at it. And I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of AMD. Like the computer that I'm on right now, that was it's a Ryzen build. It was my first Ryzen build. It was my second PC build. So I absolutely love this thing. This thing just keeps clicking. Like it's not the top of the line Ryzen stuff. Like it's definitely a Ryzen 5, and I got a 1070 inside of it and all that fun stuff. But man, like I push every game to max, and I'm not seeing it stutter at all.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, like I've been so impressed by AMD in the last couple of years. Like I bought a Intel processor a few years ago, and then like a year and a half or so later, AMD started like fighting back in a big way. I'm like very sure that my next build is going to be AMD without question. And it's been so long since I've been able to confidently say to anyone that like if you're playing games, get an AMD processor. Like
get in it now.
It's awesome that like Intel finally has competition again. That's so sick. And like to be real frank, AMD needed a win, and Ryzen came through in a big way. So
agreed. And AMD, when AMD came out, they weren't even jabs. They came out haymaker after haymaker after haymaker, and they really got Intel on the ropes right now. So it'll be interesting. And I think honestly, if Intel can get its price point in line, I think a lot of people won't make the switch over. But it's all solely on how Intel responds to this, because AMD is definitely, they're definitely a player now, where before they were just kind of the laughing stock, I think.
I remember back in the day, it used to be every other processor and every other video card that like generation that was released, it was AMD was better, and then Intel was better, and then AMD was better. And then there was this string of like 9 generations where only Intel was good, and people kind of forgot that AMD was there, and it became like your cheap man's budget computer, And I'm glad it's back, man, because like my first video card ever was an ATI Rage. Like that card was hardcore solid, man. That was a good ass card. Play some incoming on that, incoming forces.
Hell yeah.
Anyway, let's move on. Speaking of just like high prices, every now and then there's some news about Star Citizen, and it always. Yeah, I know. It always comes back. Yeah, I like watching it the same way that I like watching wrestling. Right? It's like it's all completely bullshit, but it's still just kind of amusing. So, as it currently stands, there is an in-game currency that you can buy in Star Citizen, and it costs real money to get it. And there is actually no way to spend that money right now in-game. You can buy this currency with real money, and you can't do anything with it. To be very clear, you can give them money for nothing. Okay? Yeah. And they probably get their checks for free.
But maybe one day you can spend it on something.
Yeah. So previously there was a limit on how much in-game currency you could actually get, right? Because eventually it's supposed to be that this currency is what's going to be spendable in-game, and it's going to control the economy and all that stuff. and there was a cap on how much you could actually have in your in-game wallet. My Super Nintendo controller just fell off the shelf. There is no longer a cap. It's gone. So Chris Roberts, the guy in charge, responded when people were like, this game is going to be pay to win. Like, it already wasn't. But I have to read this quote because it feels to me like he's just saying, fuck you. You don't know what you're talking about, right? Get ready for this quote. So there's two different quotes. The first one is kind of a quick, short one. It's in response to the pay to win accusations. He says this, quote, you win by having fun, and fun is different things to different people, end quote, right? So he's saying like, oh, well, you can't be pay to win because there's no way to really win the game, right? Like, for fuck's sake, Chris.
Right.
Like, come on. And then his next
minute,
quote...
Get that cash grab, man. Get the cash grab.
Oh, yeah. And at this point, I think the only people still playing Star Citizen are people who have more money than sense. So, whatever. And his second quote just made me angry. Like, I read this quote and I was like, are you... The people who are reading this are gamers, okay? Let me just read the quote. Quote, this may be a foreign concept to gamers as the majority of games are about winning and losing, but Star Citizen isn't a normal game. It isn't some race to the top. It's not like Highlander where there can only be one. It's an open-ended, persistent universe sandbox that doesn't have an endgame or a specific win state. End quote. Really? You motherfucker?
Oh, man.
Like, there's never been a sandbox game before.
Man.
Like, people don't play PUBG, or like people who are playing your game aren't playing aren't playing EVE Online, and they're not playing Elite Dangerous, and they've never played Freelancer, and they've never played Free Space, and they've never played any MMO ever. Are you fucking kidding me?
I can't right now. That's ridiculous.
This may be a foreign concept to gamers. Fuck you, man.
Yeah. It's like, dude, like you in Star Citizen, it's like watching you chase the dragon on heroin. Like, I want you to stop so bad, but you can't get away from it. And then you get so mad and so worked up. And I'm like, you just gotta stop. You just gotta stop. You'll feel so much better. Oh, man.
Like, you gotta understand, I don't think about this on a day-to-day basis, right? Like, this isn't something that comes up normally in my life, but when it pops up on the news, I never hear anything that's positive about Star Citizen. It's only that they're doing some other bullshit that upsets me, right? That's it.
Yeah.
And speaking in things that I don't care about, FIFA 29 is going to have a survival mode. Every time you score a goal, you lose a player from your team.
Well, no, anytime, it's when you score, you lose a player. So it's pretty much like whenever you lose your entire team, like at that point you're like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
But no, FIFA's a huge franchise. There's millions of people that play it. Like the World Cup was just this year, and that took everybody by storm. It was great. I think you can also play without a referee now. So like flop away, dive as much as you want. You won't get called for it. It'll be great. And they won't get called, on that penalty either. So, who knows? I know you're a little bit passionate about this one, a little bit more than I am, but we had shown the Warbringer, the Jaina Warbringer video not too long ago.
Yeah.
They released the Sylvanas one, and people are going insane. The Horde en masse are removing their shoulder armor to protest the evil war chief, and they would like to see somebody else take their spot. I think it's absolutely amazing that the community is reacting in this way and protesting peacefully to a degree. Even the Alliance players are getting on board with it. They're saying, "Hey, if you're not wearing your shoulders, then if you're in a battle with somebody else, we won't steal you out of it. That'll be a fair fight. You won't have to deal with us." So, with the new expansion coming up real soon, like it's gonna be interesting to see how Blizzard responds to this, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's next week, I think. Coming soon. But yeah, the long and short, if you don't know what we're talking about, the new Warbringers trailer is with Sylvanas, and she burns down the World Tree. She just burns it down. And in this little flashback that's supposed to give her some humanity to show the reason and the drive behind it, like nothing that we don't already know happened, right? Like her flashback is she gets killed by Arthas, and that's it. Like that's it. And then the flashback's over, and it's like, well, yeah, we played Warcraft 3, like we know, you know. But nope, that was it. She's just evil now, I guess. I mean,
yeah,
please
so.
go ahead, Blizzard. Take this like morally very gray and highly complex character who's like always in a struggle for which life she wants to lead, and just make her into a nice two-dimensional villain, because you need one of those, right? That's fine.
Right. Yeah.
Let's move on.
Well, yep. So Blizzard, the Overwatch League, came to a close a couple of weeks back, and they're gearing up for the next season. And what they've done is they've invited aspiring pros to compete in the Open Division. The Open Division is exactly what it says it is. It's open to the public. Any team can sign up. I know about 144 teams in the U.S. have signed up already, and everyone gets to play. And it's a round robin tournament. And the winning team gets like $50, which is nothing. But the winning team also gets to play in the Overwatch Contenders League, which is the developmental system for all the big leagues. So if you miss the cut to play on the London Spitfire, or so on and so forth, what you ended up doing was playing in the Contenders League to keep your skills up, playing with other players that are just on that cusp as well. And this is a good chance for some players to elevate themselves up to the pro level. So I mean, like, I know a lot of people think like, oh, I can never, like, being a pro gamer would be very like super difficult to do, and yeah, it would be, but like this is an open door. Pretty much, Blizzard saying, here, like if you want it, come earn it. It's right here for you. And that starts August 18th, and I think it's going to run until September 25th, unless they get over like 500 teams, and then they'll probably add a few more weeks on. But yeah, I mean, I think that's super, super cool. They're creating pathways to become a pro gamer. And
yeah, it seems to me like this is sort of the video game equivalent of a walk-on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. So we'll find. It'll be a good story to see who actually, as if anyone ends up making it. Because I'm sure one player or two players will make their way up from the Contenders League this year. Just because of the way that certain teams have played, and team chemistry. It was for a couple of teams hasn't been that great.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm trying to figure out if there's a way to monitor the Open Division. I'm sure they'll stream some of it. I'm sure a lot of it will go down in studio when they can. I do believe that if I'm not mistaken, there will be a top 8 eventually after the 25th, and then the top 8 will play. And then so I'm sure that'll get broadcasted. They'll probably bring them all out to the studio in Burbank and make them do it there. But other than that, when it comes to first-person shooters, the last piece of news I got is Destiny 2. Today they released a combat reveal teaser. It was only like 15 seconds long. Wasn't anything crazy. But tomorrow morning on the Pacific Coast at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time, Bungie is going to do a live stream, and they're going to talk about all the upcoming changes in Forsaken. They'll probably go over how ammo works and how you can reassign weapons to new, other slots. So if you want to use a shotgun in your primary, you can do that. And those they do these every now and again. And they usually run for about an hour to 75 minutes with, live gameplay going on. They may showcase Gambit some more. Who knows? I had the opportunity to play it a couple of weeks ago, and it was looking pretty polished. So they might show that off. They might, just go through some PvE stuff as well. So that's going to be tomorrow. I'll watch it. I'll probably hopefully have some more stuff to report on during that time.
Yeah, for sure. I'm probably going to take my lunch break during that time just to make sure we get it. Are we good?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's about it for the news.
There's a lot of news. We had a lot of releases and a lot of news. It's been a while since we had a jam-packed week.
Yeah.
But it's been a good one.
It has been a good one. We're getting to that point at the end of the summer where things start coming out. Holiday season's right on the horizon, so people are kind of getting geared up for that. But yeah, the beautiful thing about video games, though, is that, like, as much as they're different, they're also very much the same. Like just like film and in storytelling, there are common like tropes that you use to kind of convey a message or, kind of guide somebody along or give them information that maybe the characters don't have. It happens in film, it happens in TV, like types of characters and stuff like that. And, naturally it happens in video games as well. So I think we're going to talk about for a little bit is, what our favorite tropes in video games are. And that could be anything from, like the types of characters that are there or game mechanics or, whatever it is. But
yeah,
Chris, do you have anything that you would like to start off with when it comes to video game tropes?
Sure. This one actually isn't on our list, but I was thinking about it a little bit earlier. The main character has amnesia. We need to introduce you to a game world and the story, and we're gonna do it in such a way that the character has to learn everything again. And hey, what a coincidence! You need to learn things again. So, a lot of games have done this. I think most notably recently, The Witcher did this. The first two did. In the third one, he has all his memories back, but it, by and large, is a very introductory experience, that kind of thing. That's one that always stuck out to me. I mean, it's like every time it happens in a game, you'll notice it. You'll be like, oh, they're doing this again. But at the same time, like, it's a pretty good vehicle for introducing you to what's going on. So it's hard to argue against its effectiveness.
Yeah.
What about you? What do you got?
One that is also not on the list that I'm a big fan of, the bad ending or having to earn your bad ending. Like, you can get like a game that has multiple endings, like you can get a really, really bad ending, but you really, really, really have to work at it in order to make it happen. A good example of that would be like Undertale, where you just annihilate everything over and over and over and over again, going off screen, coming back on screen, killing things to the point where the game eventually is just like everybody's terrified of you. And that's just the way that the game works. Yeah. Or like BioShock. I think it was BioShock 2, where you had the option to either save all the little girls or kill all the little girls, like steal their souls for power. And like if you decided to go out of your way, that was the first one. Yeah, if you decided to go out of your way. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, in the first one where you go out of your way to get everybody, then you get a bad ending that kind of reflects that. So that's one of my more favorite ones, is that like if you really want like the worst ending, you have to try really, really hard for it.
Mm-hmm. All right, moving into the list, we jotted down a whole bunch of just tropes that we thought were pretty good. So the first one I wrote down is, I didn't exactly know how to label it, so I just labeled it in a very winded way. The guy who explains everything, even though you didn't ask. This is the lore guy. This is the I am the plot, right? This dude will follow you around the entire game and just talk about things, and you can do nothing about it. Maybe you'll get to skip it sometimes. I wrote down some examples like Deckard Cain from Diablo, or the Owl in the Legend of Zelda series, Link's Awakening and Ocarina of Time, that kind of thing, where he'll just interrupt you and here's some explanation for 5 minutes, and if you keep hitting A, he will repeat it.
You'll get through it eventually.
Yeah.
And along with that, you've got the I am tutorial character, which you wrote down, like the guy that just kind of gives you like the first person you run into, and he's like, this is how you jump, and this is how you run, and this is how you do that. And sometimes it's a narrator, like I know in Overwatch it's Soldier 76, and all that kind of stuff. So like, or
in the first Metal Gear Solid, where the Colonel will tell you how to do things like, Snake, make sure that you sneak around by doing this, or like, make sure you don't leave footprints in the snow.
Yeah.
Color on your codec.
You see that pretty commonly.
For sure.
Yeah.
One of those that you really can't escape, that just consistently comes back, is the obnoxious character. And I'm sure you can think of the character in game that you are most annoyed by. We wrote down a few.
Whoa.
Okay.
You wrote down a few, because there's a couple on this list that I wholeheartedly disagree with you.
Okay, lay it on me. All right, let's go.
Starting with the first one, you wrote down Slippy Toad, the greatest Star Fox character of all time. I will do a barrel roll anytime he asks. I don't care what anyone says.
That's Peppy Hare, dude. Peppy Hare
that
says
Peppy?
do a barrel roll. Slippy Toad is, Fox, get this guy off me!
I'm Googling this just to make sure that I'm not super wrong, because I'm
Please,
probably
no, Peppy Hare is the one who's like your tutorial guy, and Slippy is the please help me, I suck character.
Continue on while I internet.
So another one I wrote down just for being obnoxious was Tingle from The Legend of Zelda. Like, this dude is creepy as shit, man. He's like wears these tight green pants, and he's like, Tingle, Tingle, Galumba. He's like tries to sell you stuff, and he appears in different variations throughout the Legend of Zelda series, kind of like in its later half. But he's always just a little too forward and a little too uncomfortable. Like, you'd rather just not be near him. You know what I'm saying? Judging by your face, I'd say you've discovered your error.
Yep. I'm wrong. I am wrong.
You still want to fight me that Slippy's a good character?
I don't remember him, so he couldn't have been that obnoxious. Or maybe he was that obnoxious that I zoned him out. Who knows?
It could be that. Yeah, no. Literally every single mission you have to save Slippy. Oh, man. Also jotted down Tails from Sonic the Hedgehog. And this isn't really so much from the original Sonic the Hedgehog. This is more from like the later ones when he gets a voice. And a bit from the TV show. If you'll recall, Tails can't eat anything without a gallon of ketchup on it.
Again, that's adorable to me. I like Tails. I mean, I'll give it the fact that he's obnoxious in sense in game wise. He can really get in your way and prevent you from doing stuff. But at the same, and I've seen him destroy speedruns, just solely because he's Tails.
Yeah,
and all that stuff. But as a character, he's adorable. I love Miles. He's the best, in my opinion.
Yeah, to be like super clear, I'm not trying to assault his character, but like his presence in games is an obnoxious thing.
I'm feeling attacked because of Tails. He's a big part of my childhood.
Cousin, we should go bowling.
We should never go bowling. Roman Bellic, hands down, worst character ever.
Cousin, come with me to the strip club.
Just send me a text, man. Just text me so I can ignore it, and then let's move on with our lives. I'll see you at the family reunion.
Cousin, let's go to a show.
No, never. Oh
yeah. Roman Bellic, obnoxious character of the year, every year. Oh, man.
Navi from Legend of Zelda. I like, hey, listen, like that. Forget it. Oh, that triggers me so bad.
I'm actually playing through Ocarina of Time right now on stream, and I got to tell you, it's bad memory for how obnoxious she is, because most of the she'll appear for a couple of things in the beginning as your tutorial, like, hey, here's how you open a door, and here's how you climb a ladder, and here's how you do this stuff, but it's in the first dungeon, and then after that. She really doesn't pipe up unless you've been kind of wandering around in the wrong place for a while. And even then, it's only like a ding ding ding. It's not like a, hey! And I don't think she actually ever says, hey, listen. As a quote. She does say listen. She'll say those two words, but never together.
Say it, but I don't think you get the audio. It does say it, but you don't get the audio together.
Yeah.
But
I think it's more annoying when you look back at it than it actually is when you play it. That's all I'm saying.
The most annoying character of all time, though, the dog from Duck Hunt. Hands down, ruined my childhood. The way that he would just laugh at you every time that you missed ducks.
You shot the dog, didn't you?
Oh, all the time. I'd put the gun right up to the TV, and I would just fire away on the dog every time.
Yo, can I actually take a quick aside for a second? Duck Hunt was the coolest technological game on the NES. The way that light gun. Do you ever think about how the fuck a light gun worked on an NES? There was no technology for that.
No, I looked into it in depth. I know exactly.
It's so damn cool. The screen would flash black and have a white square, and the gun was actually just a camera that would send back a Boolean value for whether there was more white or more black on the picture that it took. And if it sent back a 1, then that was a hit. So if you pointed it at a light bulb, you'd get every hit every time.
Yeah.
It's cool stuff.
All right. More tropes. More tropes.
More tropes.
I'm a fan of.
How about
I'm
the
a fan
escort
of what's
quest?
considered. Okay. You want to talk about escort quest? We can talk
You want
about
to talk about escort quest, dude? Okay. There was one game that was a very long escort quest. Okay, the only thing you did was make sure this character was safe from A to B, and that game was Resident Evil 4. You feeling me here? Uh-oh, I think we lost Ian. I think he's gone. Oh, he's back.
No, I'm here.
He's back.
I'm
Okay,
here.
all right. You froze for a second. I don't know what happened. You're back.
I don't know.
Anyway, Ashley from Resident Evil 4.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you can get me started on Resident Evil 4. It was pretty forgettable in my mind. Even with other stuff that we mentioned later on. But with the escort quest, it's a common trope. It's an easy way to just kind of put something in there to keep you busy and to slow you down.
Oh, it's doing it again. We're not dropping frames. We're just freezing.
That's weird.
Hang on, we're gonna let's try to restart this call. What do you say?
I'm fine with that. Let's do that.
Give me a second. Let me get a splash screen, and we'll be right back. Hang on 2 seconds. Okay, safe to restart this call. Let's go.
Okay.
Okay.
I wonder if that's part of the Discord update. Maybe they're having some bugs.
I don't know. I have to turn this back on so that your video goes into the right place. All right, there we go. We can come back.
Yeah.
That was weird as hell. I don't know. Hitches with Discord. Anyhow, escort quest. It's still doing it. I don't know what the hell's going on there.
Maybe there's just like a little bug or something, but we'll figure it out.
It's all right. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So one of the more annoying problems in escort quests. How much have you played World of Warcraft?
Oh, I mean, I've played. I would say easily probably about 1,000 hours, if not more, of World of Warcraft in my time.
So you're intimately familiar with this.
Yeah, and it's a way to slow down the grind, and just to keep things going and extend it along a little bit more, because it prevents you from rushing from point A to point B. It forces you to slow down and interact with a couple of different encounters, and then eventually get there. It's super frustrating, but it's part of the game. It's commonly used all over the place to kind of make that happen. And it is what it is. It's just, at this point, you just come to accept it.
Yeah.
A trope that I'm a big fan of, which isn't like a character-based one. It's more of a mechanic-based one. It's what's considered to be scratch damage. Scratch damage is when you're like way overpowered, like when you're way leveled up over whatever you're facing, and they hit you and they just do 1 hit point. Because it's like...
And he's gone. He has vanished. He's not here anymore.
Like,
he's back. He's back.
Yeah. And I'm getting it on your end too, which is weird. So
it must be a network thing.
Because I'm seeing it in the Discord, and like I see myself talking, and then you're frozen, and then I see times where on your screen, like where I'm frozen and you're talking. Man. So I don't know. But like the idea of scratch damage is like when you're way overpowered over something and they deal 1 hit point to you. And it's solely because like if it didn't do any damage to you at all, you could just stand there and they would just keep hitting you and nothing would happen. And that's just like the developer's way of saying like, hey guys, don't stand still. These things will eventually take you down. It'll just take a while. And I think that's kind of cool. But on the opposite side of that, there's always the gun that's like way too powerful. I know Doom had the BFG. The official name, I think you have it written down here, is the Bioforce gun.
But everyone commonly, yes.
The
more colorful name is the Big Friendly Gun.
Yeah. PG-13.
Yep.
Friendly gun.
Actually, one of my favorite. There's another quick kind of aside here is when they released Doom VFR. I think it was IGN was doing an interview with Bethesda, and they were like, "Hey, what does the F in VFR stand for?" Like, haha, we're gonna get you. And the interviewee was like, "Oh, the same thing it stands for in
In the BFG?
In BFG, yeah,
Yeah. Force.
yeah, friendly then."
Yeah. Another mechanic. Go for it.
All right, yes, I'll go. The one I wrote down was Omni Slash from Final Fantasy VII. This shows you get the thing at the end, and it's way more powerful than anything else. And Omni Slash is that it's Cloud just slashes something a shit ton of times and just wrecks its face. Nothing lives. Save maybe for Sephiroth, unless it's the cutscene Omni Slash, in which case he's dead no matter what.
He's dead regardless. Yeah. Another trope that I'm a big fan of is the luck stat that you see in some RPG type games, where it's like, it's like a dump stat in the sense of like where anything that needs to happen in game mechanically that needs to be affected by a number value, but isn't like any of your main primary stats, usually ends up falling into luck. And I know, Fallout's used it, Skyrim's used it. Mass Effect, I think, used the luck stat. So it's been a pretty popular one over the last couple of years.
Yeah, I believe it's also in the Shadowrun Returns PC game.
Yeah, Dark Souls uses luck.
Yeah, it does. Mm-hmm. For sure. Uses it for item find.
Quest for Glory, that whole series that used luck.
Yeah,
Castlevania, some of the Circle of the Moon had a luck stat to it. Maybe not like one that was like like in game, like you could see that number, but like it's there.
Yeah.
Trying to think what else. Grand Theft Auto, San Andreas had it.
It's been a lot of places.
Most of the Fire Emblem stuff. Yeah, most of the Fire Emblem
it's
stuff.
kind of a good catch-all for like, we need a stat for this, but we don't really have another one to use. So let's use luck.
Yeah. It's also sometimes considered like the odds stat, like party odds and all that fun stuff. So, it's pretty popular in that sense that it's an easy way for developers to kind of assign a number value for their RNG machines to make things happen in game. And finally, I know one of my favorites, if not my most favorite, is the New Game Plus mode, where a developer's like, well, our game's only about 30 hours, but we want you to get about 100 hours out of it. So here's your opportunity to play the game again, but all the work that you did, you don't lose it. You get to start all over with that and then, take it from there. Good New Game Plus will introduce new content that wasn't available in the original run-through of the game. I know Xenoblade, the game that I played for the Switch, the Xenoblade Chronicles 2, their New Game Plus has a whole bunch of new content that's available after you beat the game. Final Fantasy VII didn't have like an official New Game Plus mode, but had the like, after you beat the boss, you could go back to the save right before the boss and then get access to a whole bunch of different stuff. I kind of consider that like a New Game Plus-esque type situation. A little bit,
yeah. I can see that.
Yeah. You have written down that Dark Souls does this really well.
Yeah, Dark Souls does it very well. It adds new weapons. The boss encounters change. Enemies get harder. Positioning kind of changes up. There's new armor sets, that kind of thing. It's good. It's a lot more... Like, NG Plus is like where the real Dark Souls happens.
Yeah. And that's what I consider to be what a good NG Plus system is. It's one that just, it adds additional content and provides new experiences for the second playthrough.
Yeah.
Games that don't do this, like The Witcher 3, the Mass Effect series, Resident Evil 4, like they just didn't provide any new content, and they just kind of give you that same run through again, except like usually the enemies scale up with you. So it's like, it's not even like you're running around the beginning of the game just massively overpowered, demolishing things. It's still a challenge, and you're not getting anything new out of it the second time around.
Yeah, and to be very clear, like, just because a game does New Game Plus poorly doesn't mean the game itself is poorly executed. Like, the three games we just listed are fantastic games.
The Witcher 3 is an amazingly good game.
Yeah.
And you can put 1,000 hours into that game.
Doesn't really
just
need
as
to
regular
be
game.
Yeah. Man, this whole internet dropping thing is kind of annoying. Let's say you Discord. Feel like coming back?
Get more life
There
out
it
of the
is.
game. Yeah, see, I hear you breaking up real bad right now.
Yeah, it's rough. All right, that covers it for our tropes. We've talked about everything I think that was on the plate. Do you have any last thoughts? Any other tropes you wanna toss in there?
Any last tropes? I like the coup de grace system in a lot of games, where it rewards you for being sneaky, and instead of having to do any kind of elaborate thing, you can just kind of sneak up to somebody and hit a button, and it kind of gives you like a really elaborate kill sequence cutscene type deal. I know there's a lot of games out there that do that. I'm a fan of it because I know there's a lot of motion capture in these games these days. So like the fact that they've kind of had to act all that stuff out with the bodysuits on, like that, it makes me giggle on the inside a little bit.
Yeah, for
How
sure.
about you? Anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I like fourth wall breaks.
Okay.
Yeah, like Metal Gear Solid, where the Colonel asks you to look at the back of your CD case, or like I don't know
Okay.
any bit of the Deadpool game.
Yeah,
Stuff like that.
The Monkey Island series was great for that. So
For sure.
constantly looking at you, like looking directly at you and referring to you as a player.
Yeah.
I thought, usually with
fun.
jokes involved. Yeah. Oh
Well,
man.
we're about coming into closing up here. What games have you been playing this past week?
Again, like I've been a little bit on the busy side.
Yeah.
I think I played a little bit of Warframe this week. I feel like I got a stream or two in. I don't remember. I played a little bit of Warframe earlier this week. Started doing the Solstice stuff for Destiny 2. I've been wanting to get back into Legend of Zelda Randomizer. I just haven't had the opportunity to sit down for a couple of hours and play it.
Yeah.
What about you? I mean, I know you've been streaming this week.
It's true. Yeah. I played a little bit of Ocarina of Time. Just started that one off. Managed to get through the Deku Tree, and then through his sort of blurb of exposition afterwards. Got out into the world, and I think we're in Kakariko. I think is where we're picking up, heading to Death Mountain.
Okay.
And then outside of that, I was playing some No Man's Sky. Me and my buddies have been having a good time, just kind of playing some co-op, getting in there, doing some mining, building bases, that kind of thing. And then I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, I spent a lot of time playing Destiny 2 this past weekend. So I actually managed to get the armor set completed, power level 405, and I managed to masterwork the cloak, I think. One of them. I got one of them.
So 4 more pieces down to go.
Yeah. There's one I'm not gonna do, and that's just because I don't like Crucible, so I'm just not gonna play it. That's all it is.
That's fair.
Oh man, I think that covers it.
Man. Yeah, I think so.
I think we've done
I think
it.
that's about it.
That is. By the
We've
way,
made
that
it.
is 20 podcast episodes.
That is. Yeah.
That's
20
a nice
20 go.
even number.
Yeah. Well, it's been fun doing this with you over the last couple of months.
Yeah.
Yeah, 20 is what, 5 months? We're almost up on the 6-month mark.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Yeah, we're getting there. All
Good
right.
stuff.
Well,
I got no plans on stopping, so
yeah, me either.
having a good time.
But I guess on that note, we want to say thank you to everybody that's come out and hung out and chatted with us over the last 20 episodes. And, I want to say thank you to all the people that are watching this on the YouTube and on a later date, and come in and use that to come and see us on Twitch Live later on. If you haven't, you can follow us down below. There's the Discord link, the Twitter link, the Facebook link. Come follow us and come join the conversation. We're definitely down to hear what you want to think. If you want us to talk about anything specific, let us know. We'll bring it into the show. So thank you very much, guys, for sticking with us.
Yeah.
And I hope you guys have a good week. And I want to just wish you some happy gaming.
All right. Have a good one, guys.